If you have a 21 and up Ford F-150 like this and you want to upgrade the lighting, this video is for you. We're going from front to back to find the best in aftermarket lights. Follow us, let's start with the headlights. Recently we did an install on the Morimoto aftermarket housing. This is an all LED replacement housing, and we compared this to an Alpha Rex headlight. We tried to find which one's best. Now I've installed a ton of different aftermarket housings on this truck, and I made it simple. Those two are definitely the top dogs when it comes to brightness, safety, functionality, and features. The Alpha Rex one did have a startup feature that I absolutely loved, so if you want that with the multiple projectors, maybe the Alpha Rex light is for you, and that's the way to go. But the thing is, aftermarket housings on trucks like this can be really expensive, some in the thousands. And so what I want to also do is, if you have the original halogen lights and you just wanted to upgrade those bulbs, you can. So I'm going to pull this truck about 25 feet from the wall. I'm going to take these headlights out. If you want to know how to install these headlights, I got another video on that. We're going to remove these headlights, put the factory housings back in. We're going to start with the stock halogen bulbs on low beam. We're going to show you what it looks like 25 feet from the wall. We're then going to use a digital lux meter that just measures the actual usable brightness at a certain point on that wall to compare one LED to the next. We're going to show you a couple different LED bulbs and see which one's the best and what we would recommend for this F-150. This truck already had the Morimoto XBs, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, there are cutoff lines, and that is so that you can raise these lights up high enough to get the light down the road, but you're not blinding oncoming drivers. This is the beam pattern we are looking for. And then also keep an eye on the width. So with aftermarket housings, if they're a good housing like the Alpha Rex ones or the Morimoto ones, you're going to get a substantial increase in the width light output. That's going to help you see into the ditches and make life a lot better. Now, after tearing apart the front of the vehicle and installing your stock halogen lights, this is what it looks like. This is what you're used to. And as you can see, when you stack this compared to what we just saw, the XB LED, the width is terrible. And as you can see, the beam pattern is just not defined. There was a purpose with the XB headlights, and this, not so much. Yeah, you do got some hot spots, but they're very soft edges. There's no definite cutoff lines. So this is just not that good. And in my opinion, I hate the color. That's why we're going to install some LED bulbs now. The bulbs we're going to install to compare to one another are a bulb from S-V.4, some GTR lighting bulbs, some Xenon Depot Xtreme LED Pro bulbs, and we're even going to install some HID bulbs to show you the difference. We'll slap in some Amazon bulbs too, but it'll be pretty apparent as to why we don't recommend those. Now here's what the S-V.4 bulb looks like, and right off the bat you're going to notice it doesn't just scatter the light all over, and that's what we want out of an aftermarket LED bulb. The S-V.4 bulb generally comes out on top, so I'm going to start out swinging with this one. As you can see, you do gain a little bit of width compared to your stock halogen bulbs, but it's not quite as crispy of a cutoff as a aftermarket projector housing like the Morimoto XB. Still, this is a pretty intense bulb. I've also yet to see the S-V.4 bulb fail. And here's what the Xenon Depot Xtreme LED Pro looks like. As you can see, this does have a little bit more of a scattered beam pattern, but it's not terrible. Some of those multi-sided LED bulbs out there will cover this entire wall. This is what it looks like, and I'm excited to see at the end of all of these which one was brightest. Now I've installed the GTR Lighting Ultra 2 bulb, and as you can see, the beam pattern is more refined. That's pretty cool to see a refined beam pattern out of an LED bulb placed in a reflector housing. Generally with those reflectors or mirrors on the inside, you really don't know what you're going to get until you install it. That's why we test with so many different bulbs. All housings are different, so we just really like to be thorough. As you can see, you've got the hot spots, you've got the width. I'm excited to see if this is the brightest because this is the Ultra 2, which is my favorite bulb I've ever used. This is just one of the random Amazon bulbs that we've got. We have hundreds of different bulbs. I just grabbed one off the shelf to show you that you can't just grab whatever. No matter what the price, you really got to be cautious. You really got to get something that's been put into this F-150 before. So as you can see, it's a streaky beam pattern. You do not have usable light output. If you're driving down the road with this, you are going to be very unsafe. Just plain and simple, get something that's been tested. So where does everything line up? Well, if you're going to replace your stock halogen housing with an aftermarket housing from Morimoto, the Morimoto XB, it is 137% brighter. So is it a good idea? Well, absolutely. When you watch our other videos, you'll know that the features and benefits outweigh everything like the install. If you kept your stock housings, but you installed the Xenon Depot Xtreme LED Pro bulb, those bulbs are 305% brighter. So even just this LED bulb upgrade is brighter than the Morimoto XB headlights, except the beam pattern is not nearly as crisp as those projectors from that replaced housing. If you install the S-V.4 bulb, they are 585% brighter than your original stock halogen bulbs. That is insane. Out of just a light bulb, I would definitely recommend the S-V.4 bulb to be installed in your F-150. But it gets even crazier because when you install the GTR Lighting Ultra 2 bulb, it is 602% brighter. When I was recording these numbers, the one thing I said was nobody's going to believe it, but it's true. And if you want to spend $7,000 on all of these products and test them yourself, you'll see that the Ultra 2 bulb is insane. And if you get one of the hundreds of Amazon or eBay bulbs, they look like this. And we actually were 25% less bright than your stock halogen bulbs. That is embarrassing. That is the last thing you want. Now, if you want to deal with a ballast and some extra wiring, here's the HID bulb. We did measure it to be 442% brighter than your original lights. That is insane for brightness. However, everybody wants to know HID versus LED, which one's better? Well, if you put them head to head like we just did in this 21 to 23 F-150, LED is actually the champion when it comes to intensity at a certain point on the wall. The GTR Lighting Ultra 2 bulb wins out of all of the low beams in this case, at 602% brighter than your original bulbs. On high beam, the Morimoto XB was 105% brighter than your stock halogen lights. With the Xenon Depot Pro on high beam, it was 177% brighter. The S-V.4 bulb was 429% brighter. The Ultra 2 bulb was 498% brighter. The Amazon bulb weirdly was brighter by 39%. The HID kit from GTR Lighting is 378% brighter. It's pretty amazing to me that just replacing the stock halogen bulb with that GTR Lighting bulb, you can be over 600% brighter on low beam. That is brighter than the XB housings. Now, I think that the XB housings are cooler than the LED bulb, but if you're balling on a budget, the GTR Ultra 2 bulb is probably the best that you could do when it comes to LED bulbs. That Ultra 2 bulb is king. But what about a front end grille? Now that you got your headlights figured out, let me show you guys something really cool. So now that you've decided what kind of headlight upgrade you want, you can take it to the next level. Check this out on this 21 to 23 F-150. This is the XBG from Morimoto, or XB Grille. This thing is wicked. As you can see, you've got a bar on the top and a bar on the bottom. And if you upgraded your headlight housings to a Morimoto housing, you can have it go all the way around the front of your vehicle. Believe me when I say it, in the real world, when you're seeing this thing drive around, it is wicked. It is extremely bright. And when you hit your headlights on, it's going to dim down about 50%, so you're not blinding people. It is extremely bright. And at nighttime, if this was on full brightness, it would be blinding. It is insane how crazy they've packed a punch. This is a complete grille replacement. So what you have to do to install this is take your entire front end off and then put this on your vehicle. It's not that difficult. We did make a step-by-step install on exactly how to do that, so you do not have to worry and you don't have to stress. As you can see here, it's in black, and you could custom paint the black if you want to whatever color your vehicle is. Or it also comes with a chrome version, so you can choose a black version or a chrome version, and it also comes in either a white DRL version or an amber DRL version. As you can see, he's upgraded these headlights to the Morimoto XB headlights. Those two have two different colors, a white version and an amber version, and they are guaranteed to match if you get the Morimoto XBG. Just one pretty wicked upgrade that you could do to your 21 up F-150. But what about ditch lights? Have you seen these? Check this out. I know that you've seen this on our channel. This is the off-road pod light from Morimoto. Morimoto makes the brightest off-road pod lights. Watch our other shootouts to know why we found that to be true. This right here is actually a combo driving beam pattern. So if you did want to get an A-pillar kit from Headlight Revolution for your F-150, you sure could. You get the brackets, you mount them below the hood here, and then you pick out what kind of off-road pod light you want. there's two different pod lights. There's an NCS, which is an entry level, and then a HXB, that is the top dog, the brightest pod light. And then for these here, you've got 4 different beam patterns. The 4 bangers have 4 different beam patterns. However, what I would probably recommend is either a wide beam pattern or a combo beam pattern for your A-pillar lights. You can also get a flood beam pattern, but don't do it for the ditch light kit. It's the last thing I recommend. And of course, you also have that spot beam pattern. You can put the spot beam pattern here as well. I don't really like just a clump of light right in the center. To me, that's not very usable unless I was going 200 miles an hour, which you're not going to be doing in your F-150. These will also work for the Raptor as well. Now, I want to show you guys the back side of this truck because there's a ton of different things we can do. We can replace the whole tail light. We can do reverse light bulbs and brake light bulbs and license plate lights and backup light bar boost bars. So follow me back here on the other truck and we'll check it out. I highly advise you to upgrade the entire housing on the back of your vehicle. The taillights out there are pretty good. This is the Morimoto XB taillight, but I've also seen really good taillights from Alpharex. We sell those at Headlight Revolution as well, and they've got a lot of really cool features. These also have a lot of really cool features. It's a complete LED replacement housing, so you're not replacing bulbs. This is definitely what I would recommend. However, I get it. If you did want to save a little bit of money and put some bulbs in there to replace those incandescent bulbs, we've got you covered also. So I'm going to show you a couple of the best options out there. Beware, there's a lot of options that are going to cause hyper flashing and error codes, so we're going to make sure that that does not happen today. So I'm going to drop the tailgate, I'm going to remove that taillight, put the original taillights back in, and I'll show you the bulbs that we recommend at Headlight Revolution to upgrade to. If you have the stock taillights, all you got to do to get them out is drop your tailgate, get an 8mm socket and a ratchet, and remove this bolt and this bolt down here. Now you're going to be pulling this taillight out at like a 45-degree angle. If it's not been out before, it might be a little bit tricky. So if you need to use a pry tool, you can. This one has obviously been out before. So I'm going to unplug the one plug just so it's easier for you to see these 3 bulbs. Push the tab. There we are. All right. Now on the back side of here, you're going to see 3 different bulbs. You've got the turn signal at the top, you've got the brake in the middle, and you've got the reverse bulb on the bottom. Starting at the top, we're going to turn it counterclockwise, and this is an amber bulb because it is a turn signal bulb. To replace this bulb, it's a 4257 LED bulb. That is a Ford-specific bulb, so it's really hard to find an aftermarket LED company making 4257. They are making it, it's just very rare right now. So we're going to remove this, and I want to show you a couple different bulbs. The first one I would usually recommend is an Armor Series bulb, and it looks like this. The issue with this bulb, however, is that you need to then put in resistors. So yes, GTR Lighting does make resistors for this, and it does work once you install the resistors. But I don't want to strip back wiring and test wires to make sure I got the right circuits and use some solder. It's just a lot of work, and the last thing I want to do. So what I would recommend is just, even though it's going to be a little bit more expensive, get a bulb that is resistor free. Now, the Carbide 2 bulb from GTR Lighting looks like this. Now this bulb is extremely bright and it is resistor free to an extent, but after about 3 minutes or so, it'll ramp down just enough to then make it hyper flash. But it usually takes about 3 minutes. So if you want to save a little bit of money, the Carbide 2 bulb is the way to go. However, there's an even better bulb when it comes to the turn signals on this Ford F-150 now. It's an all new bulb that is truly resistor free. Let me grab it for you. And it's this right here. As you can see, this bulb is from Morimoto. It's the all-new turn signal bulb. It does come in a 4257 size, and it is not gonna hyper flash. You're also not going to receive error codes, and you don't have to put in any resistors. It is plug and play. So now grab your bulb and put it in the socket. It is a tight fit, and that's something that we love. So put that in there. That is not going to come loose. If you shake it, it is not going to come loose. And aftermarket bulbs that I've tested in vehicles like this, that's not the case. When you look at it funny, it's going to fall out of the socket. This one is not. So put it back into the taillight and turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Now onto the reverse light. What do I recommend? I know that there's a lot of other bulbs out there, guys, and I'm only showing you like 2 or 3. However, these are what's actually best. I could go all day, and we have actually done this, the best reverse light bulbs, the best T10, T15 bulbs. We've tested all of these different bulbs, compared them to a bunch that are on the market that are popular that you guys have posted in the comments. How does it compare to this? We've tested it, so check out the other videos after this one. So we're gonna go to the brake light, which is like this. And this right now is an incandescent bulb that is white. However, on the back side here, or the front side, you see this is red. So you are gonna have to find an LED replacement bulb for this incandescent brake light, but it needs to be in red, because a red bulb passing through a red lens does a lot better job at emitting the light and being bright than a white bulb passing through a red lens. You actually lose brightness by putting a white bulb behind a red lens. So that's why we recommend getting a red bulb. Just so happens, Morimoto makes a new bulb also in red. So I'm gonna install that here. The 4257 is kind of like a 3157, but the ears are cut off so you can actually get it to work in your taillight. Be cautious, a lot of people out there are selling a 3157. You are gonna have to use a knife to then cut the ears off to make it fit in the back of these taillights. It's a Ford thing. And now for my favorite bulb to upgrade, the reverse light bulbs. I really do. I know this sounds weird to have a favorite bulb, but this bulb right here is a terrible bulb. This is an incandescent bulb, and it's white, but it looks orangish. It looks like this when you're backing up against the wall. As you can see, you got your stock bulb, and then when you put in that Morimoto bulb, it looks like this. However, if you install another bulb, you can get even more brightness, which is the GTR Lighting Ultra Series Reverse Light Bulb. That bulb is insane. It works. It doesn't have any issues. It doesn't flicker. It is the brightest bulb I've ever been able to put in reverse lights, so I recommend you definitely getting it. If you've been watching this entire video and you haven't got any bulbs yet, this is the bulb to get. So go to the back side, plug it into the connector here. Plugs in just like this, and now this is what goes into the bulb socket. Once you plug it in, you are tempted to just push this in and twist it, and it's pressure fit. And that's usually how it works, except this gasket's pretty big because we don't want it to leak out of this taillight. So what I'm gonna actually do is remove this collar from the bulb first, and I'm gonna put this collar into the housing before I push the bulb in. So that way, you can get it in, and it seats in properly. As you can see, it's nice and flat, that it's not going anywhere, and then you grab your bulb, and you push it in. It's gonna be a little tight, but as you can see, that is not going anywhere. And this is the best reverse light bulb that you could purchase for the F-150. It's a lot brighter than even some of the aftermarket taillights out there. So yes, I definitely recommend. Plug this in, test it to make sure all three of these work, and then do the same thing on the other side, and that's all it takes to upgrade the taillights on your vehicle. Now I've got the license plate lights below. I want to show you those because right now they're those incandescent bulbs. It's a small bulb, but it's a really easy bulb to just change the look of your rear end. So let's meet down there once you get this done. Now if you did upgrade your tail lights, it's completely LED back here except for this bulb right here, the license plate lights. And to remove this T10 bulb, it's super easy. All you gotta do is reach up here, and it's gonna be really hard to show on camera, but we're gonna turn it counterclockwise, pull it out, and you have plenty of room to get it down here. Now it's gonna be really, really hot if it's been on. So please just be careful, get a microfiber or wait for it to cool down before removing this bulb. This bulb right here is not bright, and it's not a good looking color either. It's that dingy yellow color. So I'm gonna upgrade this bulb, but there's a lot of bulbs out there that are too big, even though they have the same connection, that T10 connection, they are too big and they're going to actually hit this housing right here. So I'm gonna remove this bulb and then I'm gonna upgrade it to a different bulb. Generally, I would say just throw in whatever T10 bulb you like because it's going to be a great upgrade. However, that's not the case here. We have a lot of really good T10 bulbs on our website. However, a lot of them didn't fit. And actually, I refilmed this about 2-3 times now. What I've done to actually install is this one right here, which is the low profile chip from GTR Lighting. This is a low profile LED replacement of a incandescent T10 bulb. The reason being is because a lot of these bulbs don't actually fit in this housing. It's such a shallow mounting depth that if you put this in and you try to turn the socket and turn it clockwise to lock it in place, it just won't do it because it is too long. A lot of the bulbs out there are gonna be too long for this. So get something like this that's nice and low profile. So take this bulb out. If there's dirt in it, it might take a little bit of time, or you can just wiggle it, throw it away, put this bulb in its place. If this bulb does not turn on when you test it out, just take it out, flip it 180 degrees, and put it back in. It should work. Do the same thing on the other side. Just turn it counterclockwise, remove it, and then put your new bulb in. Test it to make sure both of them work. Now, that we're down here, I wanted to show you one other product. It goes right here. It's essentially a light bar that goes over your license plate light. I'm not going to show you how to install it in this video because it can get a little bit tricky if you didn't install the aftermarket Morimoto taillights. Essentially, you take out these two bolts here, you put a boost bar in after drilling a hole here with some wiring, you run the wiring up to the taillight, you test for the reverse light wiring, you tap it in there, and now you've got a light bar back here that will make your reversing even better than just those Ultra Series reverse lights. Now you've got everything that I could possibly say is the best when it comes to aftermarket bulbs and housings on the backside of your Ford F-150. But there's one other product and it's up there. It's the third brake light. Now here is the replacement housing called the X3B. This is from Morimoto as well. And as you can see, it's black all the way around here and looks a lot better than your stock cargo lights. Now you can upgrade those cargo lights to other LED bulbs that we recommend at Headlight Revolution. However, I would definitely get something like this, which is the replacement housing. Now, it is much brighter here, so you're gonna have more usable light when you're using your truck bed. And when you hit the brakes, it looks like this. These four lights light up, and it's way brighter than your stock incandescent bulbs. If you get this rapid flash module, which is also on our website, it actually allows it to blink rapidly and then hold solid every time you hit the brakes. It's not installed on this one, but it is possible. Now, a lot of these F-150s also have a backup camera. So if you do have that backup camera, just make sure when you buy this replacement housing that it has the camera with it. Morimoto makes one without the camera and with the camera, so you're in luck. So there you have it. I get it. It was a lot of information. Just take my little pointers and make sure that you don't buy garbage. It is our mission at Headlight Revolution to find the best lighting for this vehicle. Once we do, we put it on our website, headlightrevolution.com. Find this and so much more. Type in your year, make, and model to get the right products for your vehicle. And we'll see you guys on the next F-150 video.